Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining the AWS studio. Really appreciate the opportunity to have us all here come together, talk a little bit about what a telecom data cloud is, how we're collaborating together to deliver this solution for customers, and what we believe the future of the telecom data cloud can entail. So really appreciate the opportunity to have all three of you here today. Let's start with a round of intros and start with you.
All right. Fawad Qureshi. I'm an industry field CTO working in the telecom industry. In my role, I work with all the telecom operators around the world and helping them make more out of their data assets and help them in monetizing and building new business streams in their portfolio.
Hi there, my name is Ben-Baruch, Principal Solution Architect in AWS. I've been here for 5 years. I'm part of the telecom go-to-market team, so our focus is basically to build solutions based on AWS native services or partner-led solutions that we build, and then we go and help our customers, our telco customers, to solve their challenges.
Okay, hi. So my name is Miguel. I'm coming from Oneweb, a global telecommunication provider, and I manage all data inside Oneweb. That means Snowflake, AWS, and other data cloud database.
Thank you all for the warm intros. Let's start with the customer challenge, and maybe we start with you, Guy. When we were asking customers about what this type of solution could look like, what were the challenges that our customers were expressing for data, not only within the enterprise, but outside of it?
That's a great question. So, what we hear from our customers, the CSPs, is that they're seeing a lot of challenges where it comes to breaking data silos, right? So they have data scattered around, on-premise and other locations where it's very difficult to access the data, right? And of course, share the data. So that's very cumbersome. The other thing is everything around the sensitivity of the data, PI of the data. Not only that, so those are the traditional, enterprise challenges, but telco has very specific challenges around the fact that, you have many different domains, right? So OSS, BSS, service assurance. So you actually need a very proprietary knowledge in order to understand how to approach the data. So that's an example, right, of one of those specific telco challenges.
So from your perspective, Fawad, was what Guy mentioning aligned with what you were hearing from customers as well?
No, absolutely. So data silos has always been a challenge in the telecom industry. So we have been seeing telecom industry struggle with bringing all the data together. And what we keep on hearing all the time is there's always a new innovation. We talked about 3G, 4G, 5G, and now these days we are talking about 6G, right? So what does that mean from a data perspective? That means 1,000 times more data. So if you had a data silo challenge today, that means if you do not fix it now, it will only going to get worse. So what we are doing with in partnership with the AWS is helping those customers combine those data silos and build a single consolidated view of the business to help build data partnerships across the ecosystem. Because the telecom business these days is more than just about providing connectivity. It's about building those data partnerships across the ecosystem and helping other businesses deliver better insights and services to their respective customers through the use of telecom data.
So the challenges here are clear. Data silos only going to get worse with even more data being generated. A big theme this week has been all around transformation pressure, and I think this is just one of many challenges that our customers are experiencing. So in terms of prescriptive guidance that you've started to give to customers, starting with you, Fawad, what has that started to look like? What advice have you started to give to your customers and partners?
Right. Again, talking about the data partnerships, right? So the key theme is about collaboration and data partnership and helping in building solutions using the data that the telecom operators are collecting from all the businesses. So telecoms today are central to a country's economy. So they are connected to every single business, whether it is the airline system, whether it is the banking system, utility industry and all. Everywhere there's an IoT sensor device, and we can build that, get that insight from the system and build different kind of data products on top of that. An example of that is Oneweb, which is one of our very large customer working together with AWS and Snowflake. So they provide these satellite connectivity across the world, and we are bringing that satellite telemetry data into Snowflake, which runs on the AWS stack, and then that data is now being converted into different kind of data products offered through the Snowflake marketplace, so that different agencies could use it for building better insights. Whether it is about space agencies getting insights about space debris, or weather agencies want to get better insights into storm predictions and other kind of different Earth events that could be done. So this is more than, so that telemetry data that was previously considered as exhaust data, it's a digital exhaust. The theme that I work with our customers is, let's work together to convert that digital exhaust into digital fuel. And that's the theme we work with.
Well said. I want to learn more about this digital fuel, but before that, let's turn it back over to you, Miguel. What's your data product strategy? Is it like a combination of what Guy and Fawad have been mentioning?
Yes, so we are on business of selling data. So data is new water. Everyone wants it, everyone needs it, and we need it to survive. So we ingest a large amount of data per day, around 60 billion rows of data. All this data is stored in AWS and Snowflake. We extract value, so storing data don't have any value. So transform the data, derive value from this data, and make it available to our engineers, our partners, our customers, using data products or having it available in marketplace as AWS marketplace or Snowflake marketplace, really is essential. So we are on the business of sharing knowledge, sharing data. So that is where we work.
So it's not just about bringing data silos together, it's the democratization of data.
Exactly.
That's super powerful. And I think AWS, from our perspective, we want to deliver on precisely those requirements and then some. So from your perspective, Guy, starting with you, what was it like collaborating with Snowflake to build out this suite of data products, or the telecom data cloud? And then I'll turn it over to Fawad. I want to hear his perspective as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So specifically for the telecom data cloud launch, we've built a joint solution, and the target was to focus on a real tangible use case in the telecom industry. In that case, it was avoidable truck rolls, right? So everything around reducing carbon emission and those type of things. So what we've done together, we were thinking about, how can we leverage the data in Snowflake and then combine it with the integration with machine learning capabilities on the AWS platform to then build some kind of a prediction model, which then enables, for example, a contact center agent to see some kind of a prediction about whether we actually need to send a truck call or not, right? And we do it live when there is an incoming call, using that seamless integration between Snowflake to Amazon SageMaker. So the whole concept of how can we combine data with fast decision making in real time, that was the power of that solution that we've built together.
And when you bring that best of both worlds together with Snowflake and AWS, take me behind the scenes. How does that actually work to connect the two ecosystems together?
So, like Guy talked about this truck roll solution, to put it into context, this decarbonization is top of the agenda for every C-level executive across industry, and particularly in telecom. Decarbonization is the need of the hour. There's regulation. Specific governments are now asking the telecoms to make sure they control their carbon footprint and all. So the way we were able to work together to bring those native services that are running in AWS, like SageMaker, the different kind of contact center solutions that are provided by AWS, and then bringing that all in one place inside connecting it to the Snowflake data cloud to provide those outcomes. And in this case, we did some initial estimations, and assuming a truck roll is at costs you about $200 to send out a service engineer truck to fix a fault. And based on that, we can easily save up to $20 million a year for customers in reducing those no-fault truck calls. And for a number of the telecom operators, the scope 1 emissions, most of the scope 1 emissions come from the truck rolls that are sent out to the field. And using this solution, we have, even conservatively talking about, we can save 10% of those, and that could result in massive saving when you looked at an aggregate level.
And from our perspective at AWS, we have our well-architected framework that governs every application and solution that we deliver, of which cost optimization and sustainability are two ever-critical pillars in that framework. So completely aligns with what we're after. But turning it over to you, Miguel, as you think about everything that was just discussed, the business outcomes that are being delivered, what are you looking for in cloud partners? Is it sustainability that's most important? Is it all of the above that we've discussed? What's your selection criteria and methodology?
So we are not looking for vendors, we are looking for partners all the time. So you want to work with someone that you can build something together. So that is where what means being a partner. For us, I make reference to what you just mentioned. Bezos, for example, is really important in the understand the green footprint they have when move from London to New York. So we just launched the maritime and aviation verticals, where all these vessels will be connecting to our satellites and have information live where they are, at speed they are, if they using a efficient route, are they the most efficient full routes, that kind of questions, and all this data can be extracted, and then informed for insurance companies, for environment, footprint, and others.
So from your perspective, as you look to deploy and consume these data product solutions, the telecom data cloud, how do you feel that AWS and Snowflake complement one another?
So our deployment is AWS deployment. So having the data itself is not enough, so we need to extract value. So we use applications as SageMaker. So we are heavy on machine learning, AI. So predict maintenance of our satellites, for example, predict outage and avoid outage, for example, weather. So where you correlate data, weather data with our satellite data, and understand, because all satellites are affected by weather conditions. So and sometimes other events, but so correlate all this data and understand when an incident can happen and avoid, or be prepared and inform our customers so they are prepared as well, is really important. So take advantage of all the crunching of the data is possible to do in AWS with the applications there available, is really important for Oneweb.
And you mentioned Amazon SageMaker, one of our many machine learning tools. And I've got to turn it over to Guy here for a second. Put on your solutions architect here for your solutions architect hat here for a second. What would a situation look like, or a use case where you'd combine the best of both worlds here with Snowflake, with AWS infrastructure, with existing data products and solutions we offer, as well as SageMaker, for that additional incremental insights?
That's a great question. So what we actually did for the Telecom Data Cloud launch with the avoidable truck rolls is that we are building a machine learning model from Snowflake, and I think the main key power here is that there are no machine learning skills that are actually required, or any knowledge, because essentially a data analyst or a data engineer can use the Snowflake platform to trigger what we call Amazon SageMaker Autopilot to build, train, and deploy the model, and then, of course, we trigger it with a connect instance. So the main point here is that there is no machine learning experience that is required, or any skills. That is on the SageMaker Autopilot side. But also we are looking on other personas, like, for example, a data scientist who would like, for example, to use AI or ML capabilities on AWS, but they can use SageMaker Wrangler, for example, to plug in seamlessly to do some transformations in order to prepare an ML model to Snowflake. But what we are also seeing, and this is a very common ask that came from customers, is that they are trying to understand what data needs to reside in Snowflake versus what needs to reside on S3. And what we're trying to do now to resolve is, that question is everything about data sharing, right? So there is one technology which is called the Apache Iceberg, which enables, for us to work with Snowflake and essentially share that type of open file format. So then we don't have this dilemma around, that data needs to reside on the AWS side versus, what data do I need to move to Snowflake, because that data can now seamlessly be queried from Snowflake and from other AWS services as well.
So what I'm hearing is it's flexibility across the board. It's serving different personas. If you're the data scientist, you want all the access in the world to the data. We can provide an avenue to query that data directly. If you want to be hands-off, low-code, no-code, another option as well. So from the voice of customer, voice of partner perspective, Miguel, how were your engineers and teams, not just technically, but culturally, able to reap the benefits of Snowflake Data Cloud on AWS?
So having access to the data freely is really important. So if you block access to data, is like blocking access to books to kids. You need to let them access knowledge. So having data easily accessible to our developers is really important, because then they can, bring to light the value that data has and derive insights that can share with all company. Same with our partners. So the data we share, so we are a business-to-business commercial approach. So you don't sell directly to clients. So sharing the data with our distribution partners and customers, so they can then inform their decisions based on the data provided, is really important, not only for our staff and engineers, but for our clients. So help the business part as well. The motto on Oneweb, we want to be a company that is easy to do business, and for that need everything, access, data, and analytics need to be seamless.
That's great to hear. And of course, we want to see many, many other successes just like yours in being able to have that seamlessness and access to data at scale. So as we look to the future, Guy, Telecom Data Cloud is now live. Tell us a little bit more about what we should know, how we can learn more, how we can get started, who we should reach out to.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are one of the partners in that official launch. So we've just launched, there is a solution brief which walks a customer through the solution that we've built together with SageMaker and Amazon Connect and Snowflake. We have a demo that we presented also on the Snowflake booth. And basically, we're now looking for additional use cases that we can collaborate on, right? Everything, and I talked about it with Fawad, everything around, sustainability. We talked about, run optimization, everything that we can essentially take data from the network, but also customer experience, and then see how we can collaborate with AML and data throughout the stack of AWS and Snowflake to really bring meaningful insights into the data.
I want to give the final word over to you, Fawad. What do you want customers and partners to know about the Snowflake Data Cloud?
The Snowflake Data Cloud, what it has done so far for companies is to help eliminate the data silos through the use of partners like AWS. And we want all the customers to think about how do you eliminate those data, business, and application silos, and we bring this all together. And if you haven't acted now, the situation is going to get even bigger. There will be 1,000 times more data. Technologies like 6G will come in. If you think everything is connected today, just wait until 3 years from now. And I was talking about to an analyst yesterday. Today, an iPhone 14 has 15 billion transistors in the device. Intel has committed by 2030, they will put 1 trillion transistors in one device. The compute power that is available in the cloud today will be in everyone's pocket by 2030. Moore's law is very much alive. The best time to act to combine the data was yesterday. The second best is today. Thank you.
Staggering numbers to close us out here. Congratulations on the launch. Excited to continue our collaboration. And really, to the three of you, thanks so much for joining the AWS studio. Looking forward to helping our customers with this really unique solution that we're developing to the market. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.